Finally. Finally. Hey y'all, Zach here. In today's video, we're gonna be talking about what your squat says about you, right? You probably saw my video about my bench press edition, but today we're just gonna be talking about squats. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't squat, right? Funny enough, your boy started squatting about 2 months ago. So yeah, we're gonna see what you squat and what it says about you. Hey, but before we get into today's video, I would like to quickly promote my workout program, right? This is a program I designed myself, and it's the one that helped me get to a 405 squat within a month and a half of training, right? Here's me doing that right here. Finally. Again, it's only $5, less than a Big Mac, but more fulfilling, right? And I also want to thank the dudes who've been tipping me, right? You're just pretty much telling me that my workout program is like cheap and it's not valued at what it should be. I really appreciate you, I really do. But I will always keep it at $5. It's a promise I made to you guys, right? I'm, dude who didn't really come from a really nice background with a lot of money. So if you're out there, struggling, but you want a good workout program that's very affordable, it's mine. I even have payment plans on there. There were some people who made some payment plans on it, right? Like giving me $250. It is what it is. That's how I designed it. I want it to be affordable for you guys, but I also want to give you good quality. So, all right, getting straight back into the video. Getting straight into it, 135, right? 135 pounds, I'm assuming you're probably a novice, right? You're probably a freshman too, right? You're probably first time under the bar, you're just testing the waters, right? Or you could probably just be an adult average male or female trying to squat for the first time, and you've heard a lot of controversies about it, right? Where squats is like, the risk to reward ratio isn't really beneficial, right? So you're probably just testing the waters. You're probably just, doing it for reps, and you just don't want to do anything too heavy, right? You don't want to, injure anything. So it's obviously either for novices or for people who are just testing the waters, right? All right, getting into 185. 185, I'm assuming you're a young kid, right? If this is your 1 rep max, you're probably, one of the strongest people in the football teams, right? If you're a freshman, right? Or you're probably just an adult male who's getting into the gym for the first time, and 185 is something you're actually really proud of, right? That's usually how it is. Now, 225, if I remember as a freshman in the football team, if you had 225 on your back, you're one of the strongest people on the football field, right? You're most definitely like O-line, safeties. You're one of the bigger guys, right? You're strong, you're sturdy. Obviously, if you're adult, average male, or a female too, you are very well above average, especially females. You're strong. I don't really see a lot of people, women like squatting 225. Males, obviously, you're probably just getting into it, but you're progressing pretty fast, right? You probably started squatting about probably 2-3 weeks ago, right? And you're already progressing to 2 plates, right? Soon to be 275 and then 315, right? All right, now 315. 315 squat is actually very rare. I wouldn't say really rare. Like here's the statistics of world population who can squat 315, but I remember when I started my squat journey and I got under 315, right? And if you don't know, I bench 315 like it's nothing, right? Here's a video of me doing that now. Like 315 on my chest feels a lot more normal than 315 on my back, right? If you're squatting 315, especially if you're in high school, you're easily one of the strongest people, right? You're probably a top dog, probably a top prospect, especially if you're younger, right? You're freshman or you're freaking sophomore, right? There's a lot of like juniors and seniors now who are squatting a lot more than that. I just remember back in my day, wow, I sound old as shit. Anyways, back in my day where like 315 was like, oh, you're a dog. Like your legs are probably just thick as hell, right? Obviously 315 as an average male is impressive, right? I can deadlift 635 and 315 felt crazy for me for the first time. I was like, damn. And the first time I've ever squatted 315, I don't think I even hit depth on that. That just shows you and tells you like 315 is not a weight to play around with, right? Okay, now getting straight into 365. 365 was the weight I hit after a month of squatting or getting into squats, and it took me a month, right? Again, like I said, I could deadlift over 600 pounds. I was assuming I'd be able to squat 405 pretty easily, but no. I got to 365 like about 3 to 4 weeks later after my squat journey. So that goes to show that 365 is very impressive, right? If you are like just an average male who's squatting 365, safe to say you're not average, right? You're stronger than probably most of the people in the room with you at this moment. Especially if you're in high school squatting 365, again, you've probably been playing sports your whole life. You probably have really, really strong legs. Your quads are just built for anything, right? You probably have that nice teardrop, just thick ass tree trunk quads. Again, 365 is some serious ass weight. And you probably don't see a lot of people like squatting that in the commercial gym, right? I don't really even see a lot of people squatting 315 in the commercial gym, much less 365. All right, now 405. Right, that took me about a month and a half to get to. And this, again, going back to me having over 600-pound deadlift, right? I like 405, I failed 405 a couple of times because I was in my head and I'm like, dude, I should be able to do this, right? That's not the case, right? A 405 squat, I looked it up, it's pretty rare, right? I think 3 in 25,000 people worldwide can, or 3 in 25,000 can squat 405. Pretty fucking rare. It's more rare than a 585-pound deadlift, right? That's 6 plates on each side. And it makes sense, right? I think I've seen more people like deadlift 680 or 585 than squat 405 ever. I've never really seen anyone squat 405, especially at like commercial settings. Like if you're squatting 405 in a commercial gym, you're probably the strongest person in there regardless, just in general, right? Yeah, 405, quite humbling. Once I got it, I was happy, right? I mean, you can hear it in the video right here. Finally. Finally. But yeah, that 405, that made my day, right? That actually turned the switch on in my brain. You actually, if you're squatting 405, you probably enjoy squats, right? That's when I started enjoying it, when I actually started seeing progress. Now I'm actually looking forward to squat days. So if you squat 405, you're probably a leg day maniac, right? All right, 455. 455, you're strong as crap, dude. You are obviously well above average. You are obviously depending on body weight, but you're probably very advanced, maybe closing in on elite, possibly. And yeah, I'm not even at 455 yet. I do plan on getting to it at the end of this month, probably in 2 weeks or so. I just got to keep at it. But if you're doing 455, especially with just a belt, even knee sleeves, you're still a monster. You're obviously like, you're pushing a lot of weight, right? 455 is just diabolical. I'm assuming you just have tree trunks for legs and you just enjoy quads, right? You enjoy leg day more than anything else. You probably enjoy it more than bench pressing, right? And now getting into 500 plus, just anything above 500, you are the definition of a monster, right? A 500-pound squat is quite literally elite, right? Yeah, like here are the statistics for 500 pound. How many people can like squat 500 pound in the world? Not a lot of people are doing that, right? 500 pounds is insane. And I think a 600-pound deadlift is still more common than a 500-pound plus squat, right? It just shows that your femurs are just made out of titanium, right? You are a strong motherfucker. I remember having pretty much not an argument, but a conversation with a physical therapist assistant, right? I was telling him how like, oh dude, the deadlift is easily the undisputable king of lifts, right? I mean, that's what it's known as. That's what it's labeled as, right? And he counter-argued by saying, no, I think squats is. And I'm like, dude, like my point was, you could literally, like deadlifting is literally you picking something up from a dead stop, right? That's the true definition of power, being able to pick something heavy up off the ground. Right. And he said, yeah, that's nice and all, but have you ever had 500 pounds on your back and you go down and then you come back up? that makes you one strong motherfucker. And I really sat there and thought about it. And I still was like, I don't know, dude, the deadlift is just, it's already deemed the king of lifts for a reason, right? But that was me being naive and not knowing that squats really is about that, right? Because like I said earlier, when I had 315 on my back, I was like, oh, this is different, right? And it holds true to this day, right? So after squatting or starting my squat journey, I've noticed that maybe my opinion on squats not being the true definition of power might be changing, right? It might be topping deadlifts. But yeah, that's today's video. If you guys, have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate you guys. Also, what is your 1 rep max? How much are you guys squatting? And yeah, really appreciate you guys.